is the most magnificent life has ever been. Here is heaven and earth and the brilliant sky in between. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive.
Hello, welcome to Tech 101. I'm Eric Hesseldale, Senior Technology Writer here at BusinessWeek.com. As you know, it's our weekly technology podcast. We answer your questions about technology. Keep your questions coming. The email address here is tech101@businessweek.com. As always, we'll do our best to answer them in plain English. Our question this week is about podcasts. Well, you already know a little bit about podcasts because, well, you're watching one. And so we've got a question this week about keeping all your podcasts in sync with all your various devices. So let's go ahead and get to our question. Ty in Springfield, Missouri was writing, I have a MacBook Pro, an iPod, and an iPhone. I love to watch podcasts on all three of them. My question is, how do I keep them all organized so I don't have to search through all the episodes I've already seen? Is this even possible? Can I have episodes I've watched automatically be deleted after I sync my iPhone or iPod? The answer is yes, and what you want to do is set specific settings for each device. And I'm going to show you how you can do that with an iPhone, and I've also got an iPod over here as well. And we'll take a look in iTunes, we'll take a look in the preferences, and you can set your podcast syncing settings for each device. So we'll do that right now. So let's take a look at my iTunes settings. I just connected a borrowed iPhone here to iTunes, and you can see it pop up there. Borrowed it from my colleague Doug. And you can see that there's a screen here in the preferences for podcasts. And what you're going to want to do what I think you want to do, Ty, is set it so that all unplayed episodes of all podcasts or selected podcasts are synced. And so that means that when you connect your iPhone to iTunes, those that you haven't watched on your computer will be synced to your iPhone. But the other thing I found out is that iTunes, the iPhone, and the iPod, the entire ecosystem is smart enough to know what you've watched on the device. And so once you've watched it or listened to it, as the case may be, on an iPhone or an iPod, when you sync, it should also be smart enough to delete it. And so now those settings can be found over here in the iTunes preferences. You can set them here, check for new episodes every day, download the most recent one, and you can tell it to keep all episodes. Let me move this up a little bit. Keep all episodes, or keep the last 10 episodes, or keep all unplayed episodes, which is, I think, the one you want to use, because what that implies is that when you have watched it, you no longer want it, and you can get rid of it. And if you decide you want to go back and get an episode of a podcast that you liked and maybe it deleted by mistake, you can always go back and get that in your podcast subscriptions. I don't want to make those changes, but let's say I want to get Innovations of the Week, and here you have the option to get old episodes. So if you delete something by mistake, you can almost always go back and get it. So let's go ahead and get this one, Designing Services, Innovation of the Week. It's an older one, but there it is. So you get the idea. So you don't have to worry about missing or getting rid of an episode by mistake. You can always go back and get it, but you can use that function that I showed you to delete unplayed podcasts, and you can apply them to all, or you can apply them to some, as the case may be, and have them deleted when your device syncs. The other thing is that, let me go ahead and unplug this iPhone, and you can set the preferences specifically as well for another device. Say you have another iPod or 2 or 3 iPods. Each iPod can have its own. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. And you have the same options here to set device-specific preferences, just like before. So you just want to make sure that if you want the behavior to be the same, that you make the preferences the same. So Ty, I hope we answered your question. Thanks for sending it in. Thank you everyone else for your questions. Keep them coming. We'll do our best to get to them. As I like to say, technology should be easy, and when it's not your fault. We'll see you next week.
is the most